Hi there and welcome to Hyundai Power Products. My name is Adrian and today we're going to be looking at this HYM530SPE Lawn Mower, and specifically we're going to be looking at changing the starter solenoid. So there's a little bit of stripping down to do to give us access, so we're going to need to remove the plastic covers on the top of the machine. But before we start, a little bit of safety. Because we're working on the electrical system, I'm just going to remove the battery so that we're safe electrically. Just to be double sure, I'm going to remove the spark plug cap so there's absolutely no chance of the engine starting when I'm working on it. First thing we need to do is to remove this inner plastic cover here. Now there are two screws, one over this side which is visible, and there's another one which is just hiding under the corner of this sticker here. So we'll remove the two screws first of all. There's the first one. And the second one. And now, if I just give it a little pull like that, the rear will come up and away, the front will pull in this direction, out from two little clips. That's the lid removed. Okay, now you'll see three nuts on the top of the engine, or the recoil itself. So just loosen those three nuts. And I can remove the three nuts completely. So we'll keep these safe. And that's the final one. Okay, I'll put them down in the bed of the mower with the screws. So I can just lift the recoil. I can gently use the screwdriver to lift it off its bolts. Maybe that one there. That's two of them. That's the third. So that's the recoil unit completely removed. So to remove the large plastic cover, I need to remove the filler cap. And around the base of the filler cap is a rubber grommet. And I usually just use a small screwdriver down inside, just gently prise around this rubber grommet, and it will, with a bit of persuasion, come out from inside the blue plastic casing. It goes in a lot easier than it comes out. Okay, we're getting there now. Once you get it started, out it comes. Okay, so there's a little grommet, and that allows this cover to be lifted away completely. I'll just put the fuel cap back on so that we don't drop anything in the fuel tank. This now allows me to remove this inner plastic cover. And now we've got full access to the starter motor and the solenoid. So you'll see this black cover here with two screws. I can undo the two screws and remove them completely. Again, keeping the screws safe. And that will allow me to remove the plastic cover. I'll just unclip that wire from there, and there we are. That's the plastic cover removed, and the mechanical attachment of the solenoid has been removed. So we need to disconnect some cables now. So the negative supply to the solenoid comes through this wire here from the OPC switch, and as you can see, it passes across the front of the engine, passes around this bolt, and goes onto a switch on the other side. I shall bring you around and show you that. So here's the OPC micro switch, and the cable we're looking at is this one, which comes from the solenoid, and it goes on to the upper one of the two horizontal outlets. So sometimes we just need to lever these off. They are a good fit, these little spade connectors. Just get in there. Don't want to yank on the cable, I want to push the spade off more than anything. There she goes. Okay, so I just took my time with that so I didn't damage it. And I can pull the cable out and round. That's that negative lead removed. I'm going to try and make this simple for myself. I'm just going to hook the solenoid back on one screw, just temporarily, just to hold it in position. And I'm going to come underneath the bottom and undo a bolt onto the starter motor. So again, 10mm socket, I'll just pull back that little rubber boot. I'll loosen that nut off. Pull off the nut and washer, and I can remove that cable. Okay, so now I can take the screw at the top of the solenoid again, and that will give me access to the two nuts on the bottom of the solenoid. So much the same. I'll loosen that one. I'll loosen that one, and I can remove the wires. Again, a nut, a spring washer, the wire will come off. Same on the positive. Nut, spring washer, and I can remove the wire. Okay, so we have one more cable attached, and that's inside this sleeve here. So I'm going to need to cut that cable tie and pull the sleeve back. So I'll just take a pair of side cutters, cut that cable tie, and I can pull this sleeve back out of the way. The final connector, this one, which is the brown cable, and that's the solenoid unit completely removed. We've got our new solenoid. Bearing in mind it goes on this way around. The red goes closest to the handlebars. So the red wire goes on there, so we'll bolt that one on. So on with the terminal, on with the spring washer, on with the nut, and I'll tighten that terminal on at 90 degrees, so that's going to be like that. Probably go round a bit more. We just adjust that, perhaps that sort of angle. Okay, so that's the red one on. I'll take the black one now. I'll fit the black one on. Similar angle on the other side. Spring washer and the nut. Okay, and we'll tighten that one up. That's fine. I'll put that rubber boot back on and the red rubber boot back on. I'm going to put the small lead towards the handlebars, the long lead towards the front of the engine. I can now place the solenoid back in position. I can take my plastic cover, hold that in position, fit my two screws back in the holes. I can just see that they're lined up nicely there. Just get them both started. That's good. That's the 2 screws tightened up. So I can now reconnect the black cable back onto the starter motor itself, back on with the spring washer, back on with the nut, tighten it on finger tight, and then tighten that cable back down. I'll put the rubber boot back on. Perfect. We'll move on to reconnecting the control wires. So we'll tuck that one back into there. Okay, and reconnect. Okay. Slide the sleeving back down over the top. I've got a replacement cable tie. Tighten the cable tie back up. Cut the tail off. I did have to actually remove one from the other end as well. I shall refasten that. Cut that one off. Okay. Tuck that back under there nicely. So the only wire left now is this negative wire that goes onto the OPC switch. So I'll bring this wire up, tuck it into that little groove there, tuck it into that little groove there, around this pillar, and then across and back on to the OPC switch with the end of it. And there we are. That's the wiring reconnected. So now we're pretty much the reversal of how we took it off. Black plastic cover first. Okay. Making sure we're not trapping or catching any wires. That looks fine. Back on with the big blue cover. Just remove the fuel filler cap temporarily. Okay. Back on with the fuel tank grommet. Again, if you start in one position, I should be able to just feed it back in without the use of any tools this time. There we go. That's that back in. Yep. Back on with the filler cap. We don't want to drop anything in the fuel tank. Recoil next with the handle in the same position where we took it off. That's that. Three nuts. Just get them started by hand. Again, 10mm socket does everything on this. There's two. That's the third one. Okay. Lining it all up straight. Back on. Back in with the two screws. Just push the sticker back into place. Okay, so that's the solenoid changed. Just going to put the plug cap back on now. So back on with a spark plug cap. So put the battery back in. Let's just test. Yep. working perfectly. Well, there we are. That's how to change the starter solenoid on your HYM530SPE Lawn Mower. Well, I do hope you found this demonstration useful. For more information on this or any of our other products, visit www.hyundaipowerproducts.co.uk. I've been Adrian, and thank you for watching.